and welcome to the band that time forgot, the podcast by and about How to Swim. This is episode 3, and let me introduce who is around the table today. Far right is Chris Brown, current and former drummer of How to Swim.
Yes.
To his right, our celebrity guest for today, Mr. Bob Rafferty, former and then again, like both second and fourth How to Swim drummers. To his right and camera left is Mr. Dave Gillis, current bass player, and I'm Gregor. Where do we start? Bob, you played, I think, the second How to Swim gig.
Where was that?
Was it Fury Murray's?
The first
I think it was Fury Murray's.
The first one.
Wow. Is this coming back? Is it the picture filling in now?
Yeah.
Who played drums for the first gig at Fury Murray?
A guy called Benedict.
We can't remember
who did it in a glossy cycling top. Nice. He looked like he was doing the Tour de France whilst drumming.
You don't get in skins anyway, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure he had a good bond.
I'm not sure you get many drummers called Benedict.
No, Benedict is an unusual name for many. I mean, just most musics. For most people, Benedict is an unusual name. But he was nice. He was a nice fella. But he only did one. He went off to do other things. He made signs for the front of buildings for a while.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
But then we got Bob in, and your initial tenure of the band, you played how many gigs?
Oh, quite a few, I think. The ones that I remember were like the kind of weird ones where it was like me, you, and that violin player. And Pauline,
yes.
And Curlers.
Yes.
Wow.
Upstairs in Curlers.
Curlers Rest.
Well, it was not just Curlers then, wasn't it?
Yeah, we have video footage of that Curlers gig.
20 seconds.
We'll play right here. We have 20 seconds.
You have 20 seconds because your battery ran
out. And then the battery ran out. You get like one chord.
Little did we know that was going to sum up the entire How to Swim.
Yeah. Well, the first gig that we did, the one that we did before Bob, the Benedict drumming gig, we filmed the support band and the middle band, and then when we went on, the tapes had all run out, so we had nothing. And that
we're still doing that.
We're still doing that. We did that like the last show.
Yeah, the support band were really happy.
25 years later,
the support band were delighted with their video.
The support band never saw the video, but yeah. So that first gig was Fury Murray's. The second one would have been also Fury Murray's. Yeah, you're remembering the Curlers one.
I remember the Curlers because the thing is, I was in about 2 or 3 other bands at that time, and so that all the Fury Murray's gigs are basically just me getting shouted at by bouncers. That's all I remember.
Why? Well, how were you antagonising the bouncers?
I used to be I was in an industrial metal band, and I would get really sweaty with that band, so I took my shirt off, and the guy was like, "Put yourself back on, put yourself. No one wants to see that, me man." And I'd be like, "Well, my mother wants to see that." She thinks I've got a great bod, I'll have you know. Right, let's play our industrial metal music now.
The 2002 was a different time. A lot of fear of the physical form of men that we don't have now. We've moved on.
We're all about taps off now.
Yeah. Taps can be on as often as you like nowadays.
It's in the lexicon.
It's encouraged.
Yeah. Skin is a beautiful sacred thing.
Skin is wonderful.
Which is celebrated as well, because like we looked a lot better back then as well.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That would have been the time for taps off.
Yeah.
Well, you were probably ripped for a while, but maybe
not
then.
No.
But 02, the fourth gig, we did play Curlers.
Yeah.
It was with Pauline.
Yeah.
Pauline didn't play many gigs. If that may be her only gig, actually.
No. Oh god, that's tricky. Pauline is on the first album. She's on one of the EPs.
Yeah.
I don't think you're on any.
I'm not on anything apart from.
You're really not
on anything studio recorded.
No,
only ever.
That's like me.
Yeah.
So far.
He's still on.
We're like ghosts.
Yeah, 12 years and count.
Wow. One of these days we'll sneak on there.
You never did like a cameo, like a backing vocal or a...
No recordings. See, I'm such a I'm like one of those guys. It's like you say, "Oh, can you come do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah!" And then like the day of it, I'm like,
"I'm sorry, man. I'm sick."
I'm just like, I can't deal with.
I'm amazed that we haven't got you in to do a backing vocal or a bit of something, a bit of piano or something on something. We'll do it. We'll remedy it this year. We'll remedy it.
Yeah.
What happened to Fury Murray's? Because I never stepped foot in the place.
It was a strip club, and now it's, I think, an empty building.
A stripped club.
Yeah, it's now a strip club. But no, I don't think
it was a dive.
Anytime I go past, eat that mic a little bit more.
I assumed that it was a dive of a venue,
It's not. It wasn't a great venue.
No, but then I look back and there were some, like in the 80s and stuff, there were some reasonably decent bands playing it and stuff. So I don't know if it had its sort of glory days back in the 80s. And it was a bit washed up by then. But
when we played it the first couple of times, I mean, I think we maybe played it twice. The first and second.
It was like pay to play, wasn't it?
It was pay to play. It was 100% pay to play.
Yeah.
But they had a cattle grid.
Yes.
At the front of the stage.
Yeah.
Which I've only ever seen for. I saw it in King Tut's.
Tuts, they used to do that in, yeah.
For a fall gig, which must be the only case where it was put up to save the audience from the front man rather than to save the front man from the audience. But that was the only time I'd seen it, and I was like, why is that there? So we've got all these photos, and which we can show a couple of. We've got like 2 or 3 photos from that show. Oh, look there. And they're all disfigured by these horizontal grey lines.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what do you remember from the Curler show?
So I remember that I carried the drum kit there because, like, I mean, I lived
wouldn't be
one by one. Yeah,
You lived
I lived on
like
Byers Road, like at the time. Yeah. So and it was not the full kit, and I remember like my brother being there and absolutely loving your lyrics.
Why wasn't he in the band at this time, or had he been in the band
Nick.
and then left? Because Nick was in the band for a little bit.
No, but I'm pretty sure we played one gig where it was just the 3 of us.
And was that it? That could
have been Child.
Yeah. No, it was
we
Curlers. I think it was just the 3 of us.
My memory, I don't remember Nick being at the Curlers show.
Yeah, he was at a Chaiovna, one of the Chaiovna gigs.
Wow.
We used to play. We used to do a residency there.
We had a residency. We had a monthly thing that we did where we brought in other bands, and you were a part of that as well, because you would come and do performance art-y stuff. You did little scenes. So we would get poets in and
the
other bands
deadly
and stuff.
yet sterile cabaret.
The deadly yet sterile cabaret.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you guys played there before we had that residency.
Yes, we had.
Around about 2001, I think you played there a couple of times with Bob. And then the residency came later. I think they just really liked us there. I don't know why. No, I'm not saying we were terrible, but
they tolerated
it's a weird venue. It's a weird venue to put a band like How to Swim on. Although it was a bit more, as we've covered, folky back in the day.
But at that point, yes, it wasn't like there was.
For people who don't know,
electric guitar solos.
No. For people who don't know, it's a very quiet tea house.
It was.
It was.
It was.
Yeah,
Just closed a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So what was the deal at Chaiovna? Because it was a cafe rather than a pub, right?
Yeah.
Was the writer just Yogi Chai, or?
Well, there was no writer.
Oh.
When did you ever get a writer? Like, have you had many?
Tuts.
Tuts would always give you a
Tuts
writer.
gives you a writer.
Barfly were good at that.
Barfly would give you a writer.
You got a writer at Barfly? I don't think we ever got.
Slap attendance.
Yeah, but the trouble is the rider was like 12 cans and there was 11 of us most of the time, so it wasn't really much.
Yeah, it was never.
Sometimes it was 6 cans between 12.
At the largest version of the band, the writer did not go far. And then we would get in trouble when we played Tuts, because we would end up accidentally drinking the other band's right.
You see, accidentally.
It might have been on purpose. I can't do a gig on just 1.5 beers or 1 1/11 beers.
God forbid going to the bar and paying for one.
At that time, I had no money. Also now, no money.
You're consistent.
Why should we do that when there's a writer? You know what I mean?
True.
The writer is there to drink.
True.
I know. Yeah. So why not? It also being the other band's writer.
Because I used to record random audio. The main thing I remember from the first time. I know it's not what we're talking about, but it was O2. The first time we played King Tut's.
Anything O2 related is fine for this.
Okay.
The O2 episode of the podcast.
First time we played at King Tut's was O2. It was like 3 months into my tenure in the band. And,
can you remember the?
And you were backstage.
Who were the other bands on the bill?
That one, I think it might have been a band called 10 Speed Racer.
It was 10 Speed Racer.
How did you remember that?
I know. I think I remember the third band as well.
Oddfish? That was a different gig.
Oh no,
I think.
then again, I'm
There's a band called Oddfish. There's some.
They had a Spanish name.
I don't remember.
Oh, no.
I'll have it on a document somewhere. But the only thing I remember you saying, you were so proud to.
Absolutely didn't. Diaz.
No, that was a different gig.
Oh, it was later.
You were so proud to have pooed backstage in King Tut's. But you were so delighted. You're like, I think we might have made it. I've just pooed backstage at King Tut's.
It's a big moment.
But King Tut's, growing up, King Tut's was
iconic,
famous as being just like that venue.
The place Oasis were discovered.
Were discovered.
Yeah.
You know, when I moved to Glasgow,
the
2 most exciting things for me to do in the town, Sleazy's had the jukebox that what's his name? my brain has died. DJ man in the 90s and noughties whose name I've forgotten.
Oh yeah, it was
John Peel. Yeah. John Peel. But John Peel had said that the greatest jukebox in Britain was the jukebox in Nice and Sleazy. So I was delighted to go and listen to 10 Benson on that on that jukebox, and also to go to Sleazy to Tuts, which was kind of a legendary venue at that point.
No, getting to play there was big. It was the one venue most people you could talk to in your family or elsewhere would say, "Oh, I know that place."
Yeah.
And then in later years, the habit of pooing backstage became the habit of nervous diarrhea poo before every show.
What did you say at one of the gigs? You went to the microphone and said something like, you were just very open with the audience. You said, "Hello, we're out to swim. I'm terribly sorry if I need to run off stage. If things go a bit Gigi Allen," I think you said. You know why?
I have no memory of this.
This was like a stereo, the old stereo back in the day.
That's a good line.
I've got a recording of you saying that somewhere.
Okay, there we go. And this is and now you can.
Oh no, I've spotted it now by saying it.
Yeah.
I think that's what you said.
Have you ever pooped yourself on stage?
No, but I've worried that it might. Nobody wants to go full Fergie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, plus Fergie plus.
Fergie plus one.
I never did it during a gig, but I did it during a sound check.
Oh really?
I accidentally like tiny little like a wee pellet.
Oh, it's just a pellet. It's not too.
It's not. You didn't do a sort of Gary Lineker where he shat himself during a football match.
I didn't wear that. Oh, whilst he was playing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
poor Gary.
Put in the shorts. Never got a yellow card in his whole career, but he did.
He got a brown card.
He got a brown card.
It's always the same jokes in this bloody podcast.
Did we make a brown joke last time?
Yes!
But my name, I think it was it not? I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe not.
Hang on. To go back, let's not talk about shits all the time. Where were we before?
Oh, but what about like
Tuts.
how we know each other?
Oh yeah,
Because that's
I wanna know
from
that.
Sleazy's, isn't it?
This is yes, and did we cover in the first episode? Did we cover because we had Paul Kelly here, and I know you from around the same era from as I would have known Paul for just about the same length of time.
Yeah.
But we used to play at
acoustic
the open
mic.
mic, the acoustic open mic downstairs in Sleazy's from about
Every Monday.
1999.
So
Yeah.
this was how I remember first meeting you. Was you were doing it a song about a gyro or something? I can't remember. You went up to do Kilimanjaro, I think it was, or something like that.
Oh, weird. I mean, I tended to just like make stuff up, so I have a very vague memory.
But also, you periodically get up with Paul Crow and play.
Yeah.
You had some set songs.
Yeah. As the Champagne Brothers and Ken.
Yes.
And we'd like beatbox and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
But that was a really fun vibe.
Yeah.
We
And
were
you
in
had
college with Paul Crow, so
we were? Yeah.
we'd have known.
Yeah, all.
But
crossing.
my whole thing at that era was that was the only gig we could get. So
Yeah.
if I wanted to play a song I'd written, nobody wanted us to play a show, and we didn't have the money to book a venue. So the only place I could play a new song was that Monday. So you would really look forward to that Monday.
Yeah.
And it was a nice, everybody was cool there. It was a fun. It's amazing. It's still going.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Is
it
still
going?
Same old
We should
shit.
do it.
Still Jerry.
We should do
Still
it.
Jerry's still
for
there.
Do it for old time's sake one night.
We did. Well, we used to in the noughties.
but not
when we had no money. Also, we still have no money, but. In the noughties, when we had no particular money at the end of the night, we'd be like, well, we could get a free beer if we just let's nip in and do a song.
Well,
And then maybe do another one in an hour.
And we would do.
We did an
we would do
impromptu
better
one
ending.
once. It was one night we would just happen to find ourselves in Sleazy's and we were both talking. We were like, "What day is it today?" We were like, "Monday." The open mic night will be on. Let's go downstairs and we played Better Ending, I think. And
Did you have a song called Jungle Jim? Was that a song that you played at?
I don't think so.
it doesn't sound like a Gregor
It
song.
doesn't sound like a me. Do you? You're what? Remind me of Jungle Jim. It might be that you're misremembering the name.
It had the line Jungle Jim or like some guy from the jungle or something. It was quite a weird song. maybe I'm falsely attributing it to you.
Is that Chris would know? You would know.
It's not ringing any bells.
It's not
But I mean, it
ringing
was
bells.
a Sleazy song. It was a song you played at Sleazy's.
Yeah.
And it was just weird. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I would play. What else would I play?
You're not getting confused with Jack Black, are you? Quite a few people do that.
People confuse me with Jack Black. I suppose we kind of look like.
Did we look
Are you
similar?
long lost?
We look kind of similar.
siblings.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't think we look that similar.
Well, I mean, we've got beards.
We both have
What's
beards.
this gonna be like this?
All four of us have beards, though.
Isn't
We
this
are
gonna be-
distinct and individual humans.
But we're kind of slightly more like eggy.
None of us look like Jack Black, I'm pretty sure.
I look like
I
Jack
did.
He briefly did.
I did in about 2007 looked quite a lot like
We should do
Holy
like,
shit, you do look like Jack Black, actually. Now.
yeah. We should all like look at the camera and then do like a side by side comparison.
Well, where are
Let's have a Jack Black lookalike contest right
Yeah.
now.
Which camera are we looking at?
I was
The
going to
main
look at that one. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't even see the cameras because it's so bright.
Ring-a-gig-a! That's like the worst Jack Black impression ever.
That wasn't good.
Ring-a-gig-a!
His famous catchphrase, "Rugga-gugga."
Ring-a-gig-a!
He said it
You
every
just
time.
have to disown that poor guy from what was his band. That's all your best.
Oh, he threw Cal Gas under the fucking
You just
bus.
got to disown Cal
I think that's
Gas.
deliberate though. I think that's just so they can like rebond
I don't think
and
so.
not get.
I don't think so. I think,
Oh,
it's
really?
so, I think it's so that he doesn't get
Yeah, cancelled.
Sonic 2. No, he's not in the Sonic movies. He doesn't want to get Super Mario 2.
He has
cancelled.
clearly knee-jerked his way out of that band there
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of ruined everything.
They cancelled. They
Kyle
were
is-
on a tour and cancelled the tour. He'd been working with a guy for almost 40 years. I've never seen a man thrown under a
But
bus
also-
more violently.
There might have been the possibility of violence though. Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
Oh, hey, don't get me wrong. Not condoning what Cal Gas said
No,
on stage.
no.
Ostensibly,
But how
if
it
not
was handled
encouraging
after.
violence, then suggesting that prior violence should have been better resolved.
yeah, but if they're playing
better
a bunch of
targeted
other
violence?
gigs, maybe someone will
Encouraging-
take against them and like.
Encouraging more accurate violence.
You
I think
cannot
was what he was
condone what
doing.
Cal Gas said and still not throw him under the bus in quite the way that a friend and bandmate of
Jack
many
Black
years
should have
did.
said, "I think my colleague misspoke.
Yes. Yes.
See you at the next date, guys." But instead he said, "My colleague misspoke and we're done forever."
Or-
he's dead to me now.
Comedy's a difficult subject.
Yeah,
Sometimes
yeah.
you need to fly close to the wind.
Sometimes people quip in real time and it turns out to be misjudged
Just-
because we're the kind of suckers that are going for a joke. He could have said many things,
Yeah.
particularly with a guy with whom he's been working for 40 years.
Just ask Michael Richards. He'll tell you that, right?
Well, Michael
all his friends did stand up
Michael
for him.
Richards, fucking Jerry Seinfeld went on Letterman the next day, to attempt to futile attempt to rehabilitate for arguably a much worse crime.
Yeah.
But anyway, how do we get on that?
I don't know. Sorry, that's me. That's the way my head.
Have you ever been cancelled?
No. But it's
Well,
only,
now it's time.
it's surely only a matter of time.
Can't wait for that.
The How to Swim podcast.
Well, Paul mentioned Pleasant Tune in the first podcast, so that
Paul
was
did mention Pleasant
and
Tune.
that was the
Pleasant
one.
Tune we played. There's also another one that I am struggling to remember, but that had another pop culture. No, Crazier Than Mia Farrow. What's the song with Crazier Than Mia Farrow in the line?
The problem is,
As the situation worsens, I make love to Elle Macpherson was the first line of the song. As the situation worsens, I make love to Elle Macpherson.
I remember it, but I can't tell you what the name.
I'm
of
an
it was.
unappealing person, I think is the third line.
It's a very you lyric.
It's very there's the self-loathing.
You got in there early.
The cake early doors. But I can't remember what that tune was called. And again, it was never. We were talking just in the seamless transition that we cut out about beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because there was two songs called Beautiful Thing. We did another one like 10 years later. But the initial Beautiful Thing, you did backing vocals on.
Yeah.
It was just a kind of bluesy thing, but it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
It was
We'll
a
play a bit of Beautiful Thing. If we do, we have.
Yeah, we do. We have a fun version.
Here's a bit of Beautiful Thing.
Celebrity homes in Miami Beach. Summer Mexico or Juno Beach. Living in the sunshine and dining shade. It'll be the next time that I will get laid. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. That dear old true beauty, all that. Wearing too much makeup, cause he's like that. Making a living, cleaning Michael Jackson's chimp. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Oh, it's a beautiful thing.
There was a video of us playing in Chayovna, and I think it was Chayovna we were playing in. But I was into this thing of like not moving my arms much or moving my body much when I was drumming. So it
For
actually,
a particular reason?
just because it's like it just felt a lot easier, and you're
Okay.
not
So you just all wrists.
all wrists and
Yeah.
like everything's quite low. So, but what it actually made it look like was it was just you playing, you like the two of you playing at the front, and then just this guy sitting behind you not doing it, just for the whole, just like
occasionally going, beautiful thing.
So the drumsticks were not visible
Not
from
really.
the camera shot.
Not really. Yeah, it's fine.
This might be. Was this when we had the big banner, the big brown
No, the
banner,
brown
with
banner.
written across it?
Yeah.
The kind of the big banner with a tiny.
It was a bed sheet, wasn't it? It was a bed
Well, I was
sheet.
trying to be. I wanted it to be able to be hung from high up and still see it.
It makes sense.
it was.
Makes
And
sense.
nobody said is the fact that it's brown not a bad idea.
It was a brown bed
With
sheet
white paint.
with "How to Swim" written on white paint.
Brown again.
It never looked impressive.
No.
But I guess it told you who the band was you were watching. You know.
That's true. Also, I remember when I was in the band and my brother Nick was in the band.
Yes,
I
he
think-
would have been in that video you were just talking about. That would be me and Nick and you.
And was Jim and Nick in the band at the same time?
Jim and Nick were in the band at the same time, but I don't know if Jim and Nick ever did a gig together.
Right. Okay.
Because the whole thing that happened was I booked a show. This is why the How to Swim Mark II,
Right.
which was Jim and Nick and you and me, ended.
Yeah.
Was because I booked a show and gave everybody the wrong date.
No, this is 100% the reason I joined the band. This one thing, and you being in multiple bands at the same time, basically sealed my fate. I became a member of How to Swim, and my life changed for the better or worse dramatically from that moment onwards. Was you being in numerous different bands, which meant you might not have given quite as much of a shit about How to Swim as maybe Greg and would have.
I had told everyone it was Sunday night and it was Saturday night, and it turned out everybody messaged back and was like, "Oh no, actually, it wouldn't be messaged back."
No, I think basically the night before you realised,
they were like, "We can't make it."
I don't even know if it was as dramatic as the night before everyone rocked up at your house and were like, "We're playing the gig tonight," and you were like, "No, it's tomorrow."
No, it wasn't that. I realised, and then messaged everybody and said, "Please, let's hope we can do it." And they were like,
and all of them
we
couldn't except Martin. So it was just you and Martin that could do the gig.
So we had to bring in a whole new band. But no, I guess it was just you, me, and Martin did it.
We did the gig. You came to college that day, and you didn't say, "Hey Chris, can you play a gig tonight?" Because had you said, "Hey Chris, can you play a gig tonight?" I'd have said no, and I would have thought of an excuse on the spot. But you said, "Are you free tonight?" And I thought,
it sounds like a fun social thing.
Well, maybe it's a social thing. Even that would have
scared
scared me
7
at
songs
that
in the
point.
next 4 hours.
But I just went, well, yes. And you're like, you didn't even almost ask. You were like, brilliant, because you play the drums, right? And I was like, oh, fuck. Shit, what am I doing? And you're like, it's just a gig. It's a battle of the bands.
It's just a gig.
It's a battle of the bands.
Yes.
And I was like, no.
Was that 02?
Yeah, that was March or 2.
That was a battle of bands in
Rock
Gardens, which
Queen
is
Street.
now I don't
many
know what
things.
It was a Twisted Wheel for a while.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't know. What
It's another thing. It's still going.
Max's? Is it
Max's
Max's
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, maybe.
I think it's Max's.
But yeah, that was that, and that was dramatically the end of your tenure as a drummer.
Well, no, I'll tell you what happened. Just because we've never spoken about this. What happened was, I'll tell you what happened. I played the gig and I was like, thank fuck that's over. We obviously didn't progress in the Battle of the Bands, but he seemed to think it was very good.
We were beaten by a Rage Against the Machine covers band.
You'll always get
Well, of course we were.
Of course we were. We were playing all original
They
material.
were all the rage at that point.
Oh, look at that.
All right, that's a dad joke. Proper dad joke. No, what happened was Martin.
They also played London
Greg,
Calling.
Me, Greg, and Martin were at college together at the time. So me and Martin got on way better than possibly me and Greg did at the time. I didn't really know Greg too well. I knew Martin a bit better.
Stand you.
Well, yeah, fair. I couldn't stand me either. But Martin was very much. I think we should get Chris to play in. Martin had only just joined the band, so he had no loyalty to you.
Martin was the trumpet player in the band. And he
couldn't play the trumpet, but he had a trumpet.
Yeah.
And he said, "I think Chris should just play all the gigs. He should just be the drummer." And you were like, "No, Bob's the drummer." He was very defensive. And he said, "But Bob's in and Martin said, "But Bob's in 6 other bands. It doesn't make any sense." And Greg was like, "Well, I'll speak to Bob and see if he's that bothered about being in the band." Anymore.
Did I?
Something like that.
I don't remember, but I don't remember much, to be honest.
Anyway,
but because I was trying to rack my brain as to like, did I like? Because I know in 2004 I left a lot of bands because I was trying to focus on my own stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't remember like leaving or being like us being like, all right, I've got this other guy. Yeah.
No,
it was just like.
I mean, I think at that point as well, the band was so fucking casual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have fond memories of playing in my flat in like 2001 with you and Bob, you and Nick and Martin, and somebody being on like a glockenspiel, and that was kind of what the gigs were at that point. It was just like in somebody's house. You know, a lot of it wasn't particularly authoritative. No, and Jim would have been there as well. I remember we've got some. There was recordings.
Jim couldn't make that gig. So
there's a recording of June. Recorded in my. We'll play a little bit of that.
Not the movie.
Not the movie. June
the actual
with a J,
month of June.
Recorded in it with. It would have been Bob and Nick and Jim and me and Martin. I think Martin is playing the. No, Martin. June was the spoken word one that Martin did.
But he also played the Glock on it.
But he also played the Glock on it. That's correct.
Yeah, he used to rattle through those words in his Coatbridge twang. Nobody could understand what he was saying.
June was a song about somebody eating lots of cow heart
to replace their
in
own
an attempt to fix their own broken heart.
Yes. That's quite touching.
Very, very. Oops, I'm 19.
It was June. a little bit.
Spoken word as well. I mean, just to make it more insufferable.
There was a lot of that going about.
It wasn't as insufferable as. Did he ever make you do the ukulele song "Happy with You"? Did you ever have to go at the front of the stage?
Hey, that was a nice one.
There's the ukulele. Get a little rendition.
I couldn't remember how to. Also, that it was a mistuned ukulele. So
it was basically us. You'll remember because it was like four of us at the front of the stage going, "Ooh, is that bringing any back?
Yeah. Is that coming back?
No. I think if you were to ever asked me to like do anything like that back then, it would have been. No, I wouldn't have said no. I would have just been like, it's going to be bad, and it would have been bad.
I refused the first couple of gigs, and you were like,
you're going to
look like an idiot not singing.
We played it live with the Trachtenberg family slideshow players.
Fondest memory I probably had. We'll have to cover that in the 04 episode.
And yet you slandered it.
No,
mere moments ago.
If you recall, I was well into singing it at that point. And at that point, we hadn't played it for 2 years. And I said, we're playing with this really weird, quirky band. You know what we should do? We should try and sing with them if we can, because we thought they were going to be huge for some reason. I don't know.
Because they were amazing.
And we said, would you mind singing this song?
They had the best song about eggs I've ever heard.
The only song.
The only song about eggs, possibly. But it was
it's the worst song about eggs.
And Jason Trachtenberg's still really good.
Yeah, anyway, so I said, it's a total wild. I've had lots of wildcard ideas, and most of the time you go, that's fucking stupid, shut up.
But you were like, should we get
the track, just for giggles, should we get the Trachtenberg family slideshow players to sing Happy With You with us? A song none of the band had heard except you and me and Martin, and there was like 9 of us at that point.
Yeah.
So the guys from the Trachtenberg family slideshow players, for some reason,
they were totally game.
I think what you said was, are you free during our set? You didn't say, can you
sneaky.
He's sneaky like
what
that.
What we're establishing in this episode is that somehow I cannot phrase a sentence. I cannot ask a question logically.
Directly. For a logical man,
it will always be tangential. But the gimmick with Trachtenberg family slideshow players was that it was the mum and dad, and the drummer was their 11-year-old daughter. And all their songs were about slideshows that they'd found at
they were the Trachtenberg family slideshow players. They would basically go to old
like car boot sales,
find dead people's
reels of photos from dead people, and then write songs based on what they found in the photos.
They would play the photos as.
That's cool.
But then we saw them 5 or 6 years later, where the little girl was now like 15, 16. The dynamic had very much changed. that little girl did not want to be there no more. Having fun with mum and dad was great when you were 11. Having fun with mum and dad was the lamest thing in the world.
She was so
15.
cute. She came up to me and Jonathan, who was briefly a trumpet player of ours, and said, because we were both tall, she went, "Are you twins?" She was adorable.
All tall people are related. So hang on, we've digressed again.
Sorry.
But that's
Happy With You.
That's part of the deal. Happy With You. We're talking about Happy With You.
Song we would have played back in the day.
Which we would have played back in the day, but I don't think we did with Bob. Maybe in the interest of not just dwelling in the past, your second iteration in the band was post Chris. You moved to London.
Yeah.
In, I want to say,
09.
I don't want to guess. You say 09. Yeah. And you came back for like a bit? Like
2010?
Bob bookended the first Chris era, you're saying?
He did.
Wow.
Yeah. Bob is drummer 2 and drummer 4.
Yeah.
I wasn't responsible for you leaving the band the second time.
Oh no, I think I left.
I think you had your own shit on.
Yeah, I think it was quite a busy time. So,
but you at that time would have been doing. Had you started Hate Eighteies at that point?
I was in L Dog mainly for that point, and
you were in L Dog from 03 or something like. I remember L Dog.
L Dog was actually 97 was the first gig.
Oh fuck! Okay.
Wow. And then 03 was like when we started to play proper gigs.
If we're going to put an L Dog tune under what we're talking, what tune shall we?
Just abstract noise, but just put like a cover of an album and just play like horrible discordant stuff just for fun.
Well, just
It's your time.
well, she'll be coming round the mountain. On
But play twice, so it's like out of sync.
Yeah. But just upside down. That'll be great. Okay, all right, we'll do that. L-Dog, everyone.
Hey, my old band. Hey, sounds great.
But that ran until from 97 until
2013, I think.
Oh, wow,
was when
okay.
and
then in 2013, 2014, you started Hate Eighteies.
Me and Alan, we took the Hate Eighteies, which we did in 2010 for Johnny's Robotic Christmas.
So I'm not sure which Robotic Christmas that was, but yeah, it was like 4 or 5. I can't even remember now. I'm very bad with dates. But yeah. I asked you guys to, because you told me about it. You played me some stuff. You had some video or something.
So I think what happened is we did the Hate Eighteies as an April Fool's joke.
Yes, that was it.
So we recorded we were L-Dog for years, and then we recorded these 2 songs. But I recorded these 2 songs in like a day, and they were like pretty random and terrible. And so we did this April Fool's, like, we're changing the name of the band. We're going to be like an 80s kind of like power rock band. And then you'd asked us to play Johnny's Robotic Christmas as L-Dog, and we were like, well, would it be okay if we did it as the Hate Eighteies just for fun? Yeah. And so we just rehearsed like for like a month or whatever, and then like did this mad gig.
So we did 10 years of a very robotic Christmas with Johnny and the Robots, and I'm very proud that there were a couple of situations where bands kind of that were theoretical actually became real bands to come and play at the thing. It wasn't just the Hate Eighteies, but the Hate Eighteies were by far my favourite because of all the crazy theatrical stuff. Mate.
Yeah,
weren't you miming?
It was all backing tracks. Like I had a keyboard and I mimed this kind of big loop thing that got built up, and then
Is there footage of this?
There might be.
Oh,
is it gone?
The thing is, we weren't good at that back then. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's probably a recording somewhere on a hard drive somewhere that I'll have taken, but it'll be very, very poor quality. You know, ambient. But there'll be something somewhere. Just whether or not I meta tagged it, so I can actually find the damn thing, I'm not sure.
Whether it's on a FireWire hard drive that nobody can open.
Well, Craig was asking me about archive footage. I was like, most of it's on like High 8 or VHS,
or a DVD with a menu you made yourself. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I heard a great joke today. What's blue, green, and red all over?
It's an RGB component.
It's an RGB component cable! Woo!
I've never seen somebody be so shamelessly pickpocketed in my life.
What you should do, you should tell that joke in episode 2.
What we'll do, we'll go back in time and tell that joke in episode 2. It'll be really funny.
Find a way to do that.
We'll make it happen. We'll go back in time.
Yeah. Go back in time.
What was your how did you find it coming back into the band? Because obviously the band was very different from when the band you left in 02.
I mean, it was barely a band when Bob left.
So what was it like then? Was it almost like we obviously weren't expecting to do the same because the band became serious in the intervening years and much more serious.
I mean, it definitely felt a lot more like cohesive. Mm-hmm. Like it definitely felt more like directional. There wasn't as many weird diagrams. I remember in the first time when there was an amazing chord diagram that was like just 3 dots and like 6 lines with no like, and you showed that
for whom? For whom?
You showed it to Nick and you were like, "This is the chord," and he was like,
"What the?
Was this?
How it makes sense of this?
What was this?
It was like
it would have been tab. I guess it would have been tab.
It was like a chord symbol, but like with no like nothing to like tell you which way up it was.
You know, for kids.
Yeah. But so coming back to it was really cool because it was, it was like hearing that mad amazing music, but like with a lot more like finesse to it.
Right. And there would have been 9 of us or whatever. At that point, right?
So many. It was cool. It was good fun.
How long were you back in? At that
I think it was only like maybe not even a year.
6 months, 7 months.
Yeah, something like that. We played in Edinburgh. Twice.
Did we play somebody's like a party with a big?
You did a version of Cherry Moon that ended up on Little Rooms.
Yes.
So that's not true. You did officially play on a How to Swim album because you were
on Little Rooms,
but not,
and you
wrote
liner notes for Little Rooms.
Yeah, but not in the studio. No.
Little Rooms available on our Bandcamp here.
It's a good live album.
shameless self-promotion of a copyright-free tune from the 18th century.
Make good money from that these days.
Yeah, you gotta. Hey, I mean, better than Spotify.
Is that the reason this vid's going to be banned on YouTube? It's going to say copyright alert.
No, the whole point of just coming around the mountain is it was written in
it's copyright free.
1852. Yeah.
We can just put a picture of Mickey Mouse anywhere we like.
Yeah, oh fuck it. Hey, here's some Popeye, guys. Here's some Popeye. Moving on my hand for those watching the video. Here's Popeye moving back and forth on my hand. I've given myself a lot of post-production work right there.
Shouldn't that be Senor Puzzle?
Oh, okay, hang on. Here's Popeye, and here's Senor Puzzle. That's so much work in post-production I've given myself.
He's loving the idea of doing it right now.
I love the idea of it now. But future me hates me. Hates me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we did a couple of Edinburgh gigs, no recording for some reason, and then you went back into Hate Eighteies land.
Yeah, and just like general life and working jobs and all that jazz. Yeah, but yeah, it was really good fun. I really enjoyed those.
Did Greg like just sound you out about coming back? Because that seems to be your go-to move if a drummer leaves. Who was the previous?
Who else we got?
Who else have we got as previously drummer? Just ask.
I don't have a very deep Rolodex.
No. He didn't like put out an. It wasn't like a situation you put out an ad and Bob was like, "Hey, I'll do it."
Benedict wasn't around. I mean, I don't know what happened to that guy.
Hey, Benny.
Hey, Benny boy.
He was doing Tour de France at the time.
Yeah.
The How to Swim podcast.
Can I say what my favourite Bob memory is in the band? And it was not my own memory.
Yes, absolutely.
There was an old. We were going through for I think for the 15th anniversary gig. We were going back through some old videos, and we found Gregor used to interview the band back in the day before I think you'd even played a gig.
Well, we spoke about this. We did an interview. A documentary in 2000.
Yeah, of Greg saying, and it was Greg asking really obnoxious questions. Like it would have been like, on what? I think one of the questions you asked was, out of 10. What's the chances of How to Swim becoming a really big band? And like, so Ming would have said, like, I think Ming's answer was very exact. I think he said 8.5.
Ming was so confident.
He was at 8.5, and I think somebody, just to be polite, maybe Pauline or something, said 6 or 7. Bob, you were the only one who went, I'm not sure. As a member of the band, you went, I don't think that's very likely.
Do you think the band have any particular longevity? Do you think there's a niche for How to Swim?
Possibly, but very probably not. I think they will be around for a while. Whether or not they actually make any money is something to be seen.
I think Greg was behind the camera, just his heart was sinking as you were telling him that, as his own drummer, that your dreams, what you think this will be, it will not. He was right.
Fine, we can say with certainty now, you win, and the prize is £1. I'm going to give you £1.
You didn't even put a number on it.
You won. That's the prize.
He is going to need
it's been
that
a long
back.
time coming. Oh God, I really am.
That pound might be the difference between him not keeping this flat.
Interestingly, though, he was never the drummer for the third time after that incident.
Oh, hey, never say never. Chris could fall under.
If I leave tomorrow, I'm assuming you're next
when you went home tonight.
And then Ian will eventually come back.
What about Benedict?
Benedict's somebody missed out of the loop.
You know what we should do? We should be a half drummer each.
Yeah.
Like you should
I'll
do
do the left side, you do the right side.
Yeah.
We did have 2 good drummers.
No.
He's loving this idea. I think this. We did have 2 drummers at some gigs occasionally. Like remember Vic joined the band. Vic Firth. I'm not kidding you. We had a member on drums called Vic Firth. We did.
You're a double Def Leppard. That's how you do it. You're a double Def Leppard.
That's his own band.
Each of you does one arm.
That's a side project, I feel.
Each of you does one arm. Double Def Leppard.
The How to Swim podcast.
Welcome back to the band that time forgot. Now, we have had Bob on the sofa here, and we have not mentioned the fact that Bob is the progenitor, is that the right term? Of the interstitials that we've been using the last couple of episodes. Again, Bob, thank you so much. We very much appreciate it. But we have had a fun idea that maybe right now we have you in real time generate one of them for us that we can use in the next episodes.
Also, people, leave your comments of anything you'd like Bob to say for you.
This isn't going to work because unless he's coming back in a later episode.
Oh no, but for future ones, I can.
Future ones, you come back.
He can also record from his home
and then send them to
yes,
you.
okay.
Yeah.
It's the guy who does the
honest trailers. All the people say this phrase for me.
The Screen Junkies guy. Yep, he does the thing. Yeah, okay, so we could do the same thing. Please leave your suggestions for what Bob should record as an interstitial.
Yes.
And are you up for doing a live?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take it away, sir.
How to Swim, the podcast.
Make sure that's not clipping.
What about the band that time
It won't be.
forgot?
Oh, no, yeah, do one with the band that time forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How to Swim, the band that time forgot.
Good. It's like
He's turned on.
it's like a rich chocolate cake. Is your voice. I love it. And now, the last thing we were going to do to wind it up, you said, interestingly, that you had some questions for me.
I do have a couple of questions, but like,
Yeah, have you got a quid?
Can I have that money back, please?
Can you cover your day saver?
so I've always been interested by your lyrics and your lyric writing.
Okay, on the famous Jungle Gym.
Well, I
We
mean,
all remember Jungle Gym so fondly.
Patsy said this, and I think Patsy wanted to ask the same question. So
Okay.
yeah, and it's just, I guess, because I think when I first heard your lyrics, I was like, those are awesome, weird lyrics. I always felt like they were kind of like maybe kind of stream of consciousness, like sort of coming from like,
Absolutely a correct read at that point. Yeah.
but
Fuck
then
Me in a Flame Retardant Suit, which we were talking about on the debut episode, is absolutely just a kind of boop.
yeah.
and what about as the situation worsens?
I make love to Helmick person. Yeah, these are just dumb lyrics.
But there's lots of really cool stuff in there. Like there's lots of really amazing imagery.
Yeah.
You know, really beautiful stuff. Has that changed? Has your songwriting style changed over the years? Do you feel like what are you pulling in when you're writing songs?
That's a good question. The songwriting style has definitely changed. I definitely think about it more.
Right. Okay.
In the first half a dozen years, it's just bleh, whatever you get, bleh, comes out. And at that point, I was like, nobody really, it doesn't bother them. What I churn out randomly seems to be okay.
Yeah.
And the weirder and more unformed it is, the better. Because arguably, the more weirder and unformed it is, the less like generic stuff it sounds.
Yeah.
So the more specific and individual it sounds, and therefore the more that it stands out. So at that point I was like, well, it doesn't really matter that there's no craft to it. I'll just blurt it out.
Yeah.
But then at a certain point I've had a thing where I kind of want people to love the music.
Yeah.
And I feel like the early stuff they don't love in the same way, because it's at an arm's length, because it's just, there's no emotion or thought behind it. It's just blurk.
Like Feeling Guilty is an example of you just like I don't think you. I mean, it's not, you're not proud of it, but it's a. I mean, you tell me what it is. It's just.
Oh, I can't remember. Well, Feeling Guilty I wrote when I was 16,
Yeah.
so that's you know, a lifetime ago.
I mean, it sounds pretentious as fuck.
Yeah, but there's a lot of that. There's a lot of trying to write something profound in a kind of will this do sort of way, and thinking, you know,
sounds like Russell Brand trying to do lyrics or something.
Yeah.
That's so mean.
I've never been publicly kicked in the teeth.
Sorry, I didn't mean
quite this degree.
Sorry. You know what I mean about Russell Brand?
Could we make an analogy for a non-sex offender?
The Russell Brand who used to be an innocent person who just used to like to use.
He was criminal.
Well, I know, but we thought he was innocent. I mean, everyone thought he was a dick. His deal was like using ridiculously long words that he didn't know what they meant. Like he just read them out of a dictionary.
I'm going to argue that's not fair. I don't think there's ever been a word that I've used that I didn't know what it was meant.
No, I'm just saying it sounded maybe for a 16-year-old a bit like.
Okay, let's not kick this 16-year-old down the stairs. He was a literal child, motherfucker.
Who just read some books and went, I'll use those words. They're big.
What was that song called?
Feeling Guilty, /
And
no
here
really close
is Feeling
/
Guilty, /
Which again,
/
I think once it was recorded, the back half.
Well, it's why you turned it into basically half of a lyric and then half of an instrumental random.
It
jam.
turns into like a Godspeed You Black Emperor song with a very nice string section by Ross McRae.
Yes.
Which was the first thing that we did with Ross before he joined the band. Hopefully we'll get Ross in one of the later
episodes. Ross will have some stories.
But yes, no, I think now I spoke to somebody about this recently. Now when I sit down at the piano or at the guitar, I'm kind of trying to write the best piece of craft.
Right, great.
So I'm trying to write the best song
that
I can. I'm trying to write a McCartney song or something. I'm trying to write a perfect Brian Wilson tune. I'm trying to write, like, let's have this be in the upper pantheon. And every time you maybe feel like you get a little bit closer. The the lyrics is more of an afterthought now, but it's still like the music comes first and the lyrics maybe come later.
Yeah.
But the lyrics are probably are much more thought out than they were.
And do you find yourself getting inspired by things out in the world, or is it always just something that's in there already that you're not quite sure where it's from?
Bits and pieces. I have a notes app, and the odd a phrase will come. In fact, that's the only thing I write in the world is lyrics. So I will write a little note of here's a line, half a line or something,
Cool.
and I'll scribble it down, and then that might become a song.
He sends them to me. I've got no idea what to make of them. You'd be like, what do you think of this? I'm like, it's just words. I don't know. Did Gregor's answer satisfy your curiosity?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
It's good to know these.
Did you have any other ones, or was it?
I think I did, but they've gone.
Bob, what's your favourite How to Swim song?
The one that goes
Jungle Jim.
Jungle Jim. It was
We all
favourite.
We all remember Jungle Jim. So
She Don't Like Cities.
oh, okay.
wow, there's a deep cut.
Yeah.
I fucking
Did
love
we
that.
play that with you, or was that post?
No, that was post me.
Right.
Yeah, that's such
We should have a
That's a tune.
We should have a
That's
lunch
a
of that
tune.
in a rehearsal.
That's one of the early ones that's
Just
about nothing at
ridiculous.
all, but actually sounds like it maybe is about more.
But
stuff.
it's I mean, it's so evocative and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
mad, and like just the bit where you're like going, "She don't like cities."
yeah.
Which
There's
wasn't improv. In
There's
the
a lot
studio.
of Tom Waits yelling on that one.
Yeah, yeah,
Here's a little
yeah.
bit of that tune.
Oh, it's so good to have time alone. Your toes look so sweet in those sandals. It's so hard before you relapse. You don't like cities. 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 You don't like cities.
Do you have any like lyrical idols? Do you like pick things from other singer-songwriters?
Yeah, I mean, you will for your.
Well, yeah,
songs,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Everybody has people. I don't know. The episode we did, the Christmas episode where we reviewed the year.
Yeah.
We did before, or maybe not before, but maybe just after the Cameron Winter record had come out,
Right.
and
Just
I had
before.
not heard the
Just
Cameron
before.
Winter. No, the Cameron Winter
Oh, sorry,
record came out on
sorry.
like the
Sorry.
9th or something.
Yeah.
I think we had recorded the record, and recorded the episode, and that record was out, but I at that point had not heard it. And then in the last like week of the year, I listened to that album and I'm like, this is the best album of the year. I absolutely have to reassess my albums of the year, and one of the reasons that is the best record of last year for my money is that the lyrics are fucking wild.
You're
Yeah.
making
The lyrics-
me feel like a $0 man. Was
Made me
that?
feel like a $0
Make me
man
feel like
is
a
really
dollar in
good.
your hand. I love that.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
There's a line about wanting to. I can't remember. It's he talks about breaking his big hairy football heart,
Well
and
remembered.
I love that line. And then I googled it, and it's not the line. The line is "break my big hairy football arms," which is less good.
Yeah.
It's less good.
"Break my big hairy football heart" is a wonderful line. But that is not no shade on
Yeah.
Cameron Winter, because the line.
both.
But your big hairy football arms makes sense.
That's kinda random.
Your big hairy
It's wonderful.
football my big hairy football heart makes less sense, and therefore it's better. It's
Yeah, it's
more
like-
abstract.
And also, it's like having
But
hair on a heart.
He has a line about her lying on the piano while upstairs a Russian man kicks sparrow's eggs to powder, and it's genius. It's Dylan level genius, and this motherfucker is 22.
Wow.
And it's so outrageous that he's that good.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful, wonderful record, and I had the same thing with Jordy Greep last year, where just listening to the Jordy Greep's record, which if you haven't heard, you got to hear it. It's
Right.
wonderful.
Check it out.
Made me try and write 11 Jordy Greep songs, and inevitably 6 of them are going to be so clearly pastiche.
If you get 1 out of 11, that's good.
Yeah, well, that's my thinking though. It's just a numbers game. You'll write 6 or 7 that are
Surely
way
something
too
like-
close, but then one will hit that is more me, and we use that one.
But surely something like Genesis P was Jordy Greep before Jordy Greep, you know? It was like, or better than Jordy Greep. Like Genesis P and Me as a song, lyric-wise, structure-wise,
Jordy
progression-wise.
Greep stuff is very specifically about particular characters.
Yeah, but that's a character piece. I'm saying Genesis P and Me.
Genesis P and Me is also a character piece in that it's about his wife.
And it's
from the perspective
and
of
it's
his
just
wife. Which is
bonkers.
rare in my writing in that I tend not to play other characters.
Well, Paul gave you the idea for it, didn't he?
Yeah. I met Paul in Paul and I went to see. I want to see the Go Team at Optimo in like 2007 or something, and he said, "Did you know that Genesis P-Org is doing this thing where him and his wife are trying to like physically change themselves so that they look like the same person?" I was like, "That's wild!
I'm gonna write a song about it.
I gotta write a song about that."
Yeah.
And then his wife
died. No, his
before
wife
the
died.
song?
No, his wife died after. Because remember because we used to say this is about Genesis George, his wife,
and his wife,
but then like a year after that, you were like, who has since died,
and then obviously Genesis P as well. Bob, if people want to hear more of you and more of the things that you do, where can they go to learn more about your work?
Well, Buchanan Street, like most Tuesdays, I'll be just up there, just 6 o'clock, just shouting.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to
I understand you wank for pennies every so often as well. Is that an option still?
Hickneys, if possible.
Oh, I see.
If possible.
Yeah. A more cultured penny. Yeah.
Needles.
Vintage pennies.
Vintage pennies.
0.10 of a penny.
Yeah,
it's a nostalgia wank if it's a hit.
Nostalgia wank. No, but you can find music by the Hate Eighteies at Hate80s.com.
And you guys are going to do more stuff this year.
Yeah.
Because there was an album. When was the album?
The album was like 2014, I think.
And there's a plan for another one.
Another one is like in the mixing stage. So hopefully,
cracking album, guys. Good visual stuff as well to support it. Kind of
great visual stuff. Great visual
and
stuff.
I assume more of that kind of stuff coming up.
Yeah. I've been doing some cool stuff with an illustrator called Chris Mulvena, who's amazing. Some cool stuff with that.
And we'll put a link into the L-Dog stuff online still.
Yeah.
We'll put a link into that as well.
Great.
But again, a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, so
lovely to see you again. It's been too long, man.
It's been too long, guys.
Well, we might get you back in for, because this is the 02 episode, we might get you back in for one of the like 011 or 12 episodes.
The ones where they mourn my initial departure from the band.
Yeah, well, there'll be one whole episode that's just black.
Yeah.
In
crying, sobbing.
No, we'll just play Camptown Races on it. That wasn't the one we mentioned earlier before, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, and I've turned my phone on by mistake in the interim. So yeah, this is the part where the wheels have completely fallen off. It's the end of the episode.
Were the wheels ever on?
Were the wheels ever on is a good question. Thank you again for joining us for episode 3 of The Band That Time Forgot. Enjoy your week, everybody.
Bye.
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 Like and subscribe. Hit that button now till your finger breaks.
Yeah, that's great. We got it.
I think Bob needs to be for all of these.